Karen poured cement in my koi pond, so I flooded their office with fish. If you've ever watched a grown woman pour 60 pounds of concrete into a living pond with a smile on her face, you know exactly the kind of rage I'm talking about. The kind that makes you throw the rule book right back at her, but wetter and with fins. Let me tell you the story of how my koi became agents of karma. My name's Devin Reyes, and I live in a quiet cul-de-sac where the houses look identical. The lawns are too green, and the people pretend to be nice until they get elected to the HOA. I've always loved fish, koi especially. They're calming. They remind me of summers with my abuelo in San Diego, feeding his pond at sunset. So when I moved into this home 3 years ago, I built my own pond in the backyard with waterfalls, lilies, the works, self-contained, lined properly, professionally permitted. It was my piece. Karen didn't like peace. Karen, the HOA president with a haircut sharp enough to slice tile, called it a liability, said it might attract undesirable wildlife. I said, "You mean birds?" She said yes, and lawsuits. I laughed. She didn't. It started with fines, unauthorized water feature, non-standard landscaping. I appealed every single one, won every single time. Then last month I came home from work and saw gray sludge pouring over the pond walls. I ran to the backyard and there it was, a cement truck pulling away, my pond buried under wet concrete, my koi gone, the water still steaming, and standing nearby, holding a clipboard and sipping a Diet Sprite, Karen. She said, "This is your final notice. We've removed the hazard for the safety of the community." I swear, I saw red, but I didn't scream. I didn't threaten. I didn't swing. I planned. What Karen didn't know was that I'm a certified plumber, and my cousin Tito runs live aquarium installs for high-end spas. So we got to work. 3 days later, I filed a work order to inspect backflow concerns at the HOA clubhouse. Totally legit request. The pipes hadn't been inspected in 15 years. What we actually did, hooked a clean water line from my house to theirs, added a silent inline pump, installed a remote-controlled release valve, and brought in 47 koi from Tito's tanks, all staged in a temporary holding tub on my trailer. The operation was surgical. Friday morning monthly HOA board meeting. They were all inside. Karen, Wayne, the whole khaki-clad brigade, coffee, croissants, condescension. At 9:02 a.m., I flipped the switch. Water surged through the side utility closet. By 9:04, it began leaking from the vent under the kitchenette. By 9:07, Karen screamed. And by 9:10, koi were swimming across the hotel floor. I timed my walk perfectly. Strolled in just as Karen stood on a chair, soaked, pointing and shrieking. "There are fish in the office. There are actual fish in the office." I calmly stepped in with Tito behind me carrying a net. I said, "Yeah, looks like they're reclaiming their dignity." The fallout explosive. Karen called the cops. They laughed. Tried to press charges. My lawyer laughed. Turns out the HOA had no proof the cement truck was officially sanctioned. They couldn't explain the work order. Their destruction of nuisance property clause didn't apply to wildlife. And the kicker, the koi were state-protected ornamental species. I filed charges. She got fired. The HOA board dissolved. Now that old HOA office converted into a local koi sanctuary and water garden club. The community voted to fund its renovation. Karen moved to a townhome complex without yards. I still have the valve, mounted in my garage like a trophy. And every time someone asks me why I smile when I see fish, I say, because they won. Call to action was flooding the office, poetic justice, or too far. What would you have done if someone buried your pond in concrete? Tell us below, because sometimes revenge swims in slow, graceful circles. The end.